If you loved me, you'd let me sleep with other men, she demanded. So I dumped her on the spot. The guy she chose ghosted her in 3 weeks, and now she says she made a horrible mistake, begging me to come back. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. The ring was in my sock drawer, hidden inside a hollowed-out copy of The Count of Monte Cristo. It was a simple, vintage-style cushion cut, the exact one she'd pointed at in a shop window 6 months ago, before she changed. If you'd asked me 4 weeks ago, I would have told you I was the luckiest guy in the world. My girlfriend Sarah and I had been together for 4 years. We had the kind of relationship people aim for, a comfortable, worn-in kind of love built on stupid inside jokes, forever memorialized as the Great Mustard Incident of 2022, and a perfectly synced Google Calendar. I'm an architect. I build things to last. I design foundations, support structures, and futures. I was doing the same with us. I had the ring. I had the 5-year plan. I even had a secret folder on my desktop with Zillow listings for houses just outside the city, the kind with a small yard for the dog we said we'd get. Then, about 2 months ago, Sarah started her Ascend seminar. It was one of those weekend-long, $1,000 self-actualization workshops run by some guy with a man bun and a messiah complex. His name was Liam. I'd seen a picture of him on her new, aggressively spiritual Instagram feed. He looked like a guy who sold counterfeit Yeezys and called himself a thought leader. At first, I was supportive. She'd been laid off from her marketing job 6 months prior, and it had hit her hard. I remember her sobbing into my chest, her confidence shattered. I held her, stroked her hair, and told her, "It's not you against the world, Sarah. It's us. We'll figure this out. We." I paid the rent and bills for those months without a second thought, cooked dinner every night, and told her to take her time. So when she asked to use our savings for the Ascend seminar, I said yes. I thought it would help her rebuild. Instead, it started to dismantle us. The Sarah who came back was different. She was distant, and she spoke in a new, alien language. Everything was about energetic misalignment or holding space. If I asked a simple question like, "Did you take the trash out?" I'd get a response like, "I don't have the emotional bandwidth for that request right now, Mark. You need to respect my truth." I try to make her laugh with one of our old jokes, and she'd give me this pitying little smile, as if I was a child she'd outgrown. "What's going on with you?" I asked her one night, about a week ago. She sighed, a long, theatrical, put-upon sound. "I'm just on a different journey now, Mark. I'm discovering my authentic self. The work I'm doing with Liam. It's profound. You're just not evolved enough to get it." Not evolved. I repeated, the words feeling sour in my mouth. "I'm the guy who flosses your hair out of the shower drain. What's evolved mean?" She just shook her head, and that was that. A wall had been built between us, and she was on one side with her truth, while I was on the other, apparently with the trash. I figured it was a phase. I thought the real Sarah was still in there, and that the ring in my sock drawer would be the thing to bring her back. I was a fool. It was a Tuesday night. I'd gotten a promotion at work, a big one. I came home wanting to celebrate, maybe open that nice bottle of wine we'd been saving. I was thinking about the ring again, thinking maybe I should just move up the proposal. I walked in, and she was on the sofa, bathed in the blue light of her phone, her thumb scrolling endlessly. "Hey," I said, dropping my keys in the bowl. "I've got great news." "Hmm? Oh, cool," she said, not looking up. I'd cooked dinner, a pasta dish she used to call her favorite. I plated it, put it on the table, and waited. She didn't move. "Sarah, dinner's ready." She sighed, as if I'd just asked her to solve a complex algorithm. She put her phone down, screen first, and sat at the table. She pushed the pasta around with her fork. So, my project got final approval. I started, trying to inject some life into the room. The partners pulled me aside and, "Mark," she interrupted, her voice flat. "I need to talk to you about my journey." I stopped, my fork halfway to my mouth. "Okay, what about it?" "My journey," she said, "and our relational container." I blinked. Our what? Our apartment. Our relationship, Mark. The structure of it. She took a deep breath, and I could see her visibly trying to arrange her face into a look of serene, condescending wisdom. It was the face she used when she was about to explain her new discoveries. "The work I'm doing with Liam is about breaking down restrictive, Patriarchal structures, she said, as if reading from a script. Monogamy is one of those structures. It's based in ownership, in fear. It's not based in abundance. My stomach went cold. I put my fork down. Sarah, what are you talking about? I'm talking about my truth, she said, her voice gaining a bit of an edge. I've developed a deep, an energetic and intellectual connection with Liam. He sees my true self. He's my guide in this. The air left my lungs. The great news I had, the promotion, the ring, it all just shriveled up and died. Are you? I had to force the words out. Are you asking me if you can sleep with him? She scoffed. A sharp, ugly, impatient sound. God, you're so reductive, Mark. It's not sleeping with him. It's an expansion. It's about me being allowed to explore all facets of my being without being caged. Honestly, it would be good for us. It would make me a better, more fulfilled partner for you. The logic was so twisted, so utterly self-serving, I couldn't speak. I just stared at her. I stared at the woman I'd held while she cried about a layoff, the woman I was planning to build a life with, and I felt nothing. It was like a switch had been flipped. The warmth was just gone. No, I said. My voice was quiet, but it cut through the room. What? The answer is no. That's a deal breaker, Sarah. I'm not evolving into that. Her zen facade didn't just crack, it exploded. Her face, which had been set in that smug, serene mask, twisted into something ugly and furious. This was the real Sarah, the one who'd been hiding behind the buzzwords. This is exactly what I'm talking about, she snapped, her voice rising. Your insecurity. Your control. You're trying to cage me. You're trying to own me just like you own this apartment. Just like you own everything. I'm not trying to own you, Sarah. I just don't want to be in an open relationship. But it's what I need to be happy. It's what I need to be fulfilled, she yelled, standing up now. You don't get it. You claim you love me, but you're too weak and paranoid to really love someone. She was breathing hard, her eyes flashing. And then, she said the words that ended everything. If you loved me, you'd let me sleep with other men. You'd want me to be happy. There was a long, ringing silence. The sound of the fridge humming rushed in to fill the vacuum. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I loved was gone. She had been hollowed out and replaced by this arrogant, deluded stranger who was standing in my kitchen demanding a hall pass like a teenager. She was still breathing hard, her chest puffed up with self-righteous anger, waiting for me to break. Waiting for me to yell, or cry, or beg. Waiting for the insecure man to prove her right. So I gave her the one thing she never saw coming. I smiled. A small, tight, sad smile. You're right, I said, my voice perfectly level. Her face instantly relaxed, shifting into a smug, victorious look. She thought she'd won. See, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. I knew you could understand. I knew you could evolve if you just… No, I cut her off. The smile was gone. You're right that I don't love this version of you. I don't even know this version of you. The woman I loved wouldn't need to hurt me to be happy. She wouldn't call loyalty a cage. So we're done, Sarah. Her smugness vanished, replaced by a baffled, almost comical shock. What? She sputtered. What did you just say? We're done. Over. You're free. You can go expand and explore with Liam or whoever else you want. You can be as fulfilled as your heart desires. But you're not going to do it while living in my home and calling yourself my girlfriend. I stood up, walked to the closet, and grabbed my jacket and my gym bag, which was already packed from the morning. You're dumping me? She stammered, as if the concept was foreign. You're throwing away 4 years because you're insecure? Because of one little request. I'm not insecure, I said, zipping up the jacket. I just have self-respect. And you just told me I'm not enough. I'm choosing to believe you. Mark, you can't be serious. You're making a huge mistake. You made the choice, Sarah. You just didn't have the guts to call it a breakup. So I'll do it for you. I pulled my keys from the bowl by the door. I'll stay at my brother's. I want you out by the weekend. Leave your key on the counter. Mark, wait, she shrieked, the anger and panic finally mixing. You're just going to walk out? You'll be back. You'll be begging me to come back in a week when you realize what you lost. I paused at the door, one hand on the knob, and looked back at her. The pasta I'd cooked was getting cold on the table. The bottle of wine I'd bought to celebrate was still on the counter. The only mistake I made, I said, my voice dead calm, was wasting my money on the ring in my sock drawer. I didn't slam the door. I closed it quietly, clicked the deadbolt, and walked away. I heard her scream my name from the other side, a muffled, furious sound. I just kept walking and never looked back. The first few days were numb. I operated on a cold, clinical autopilot. I called my brother, who just said, "Her loss, man. My couch is yours." I called our landlord and explained that my tenant was moving out, and I needed to start the paperwork to have her removed from the lease. I went to our joint bank account, the one for utilities and groceries, and transferred my half of the money out. Then I sent her a single, final Venmo request for her half of the last electric bill. The note just said, "Final total." I changed my passwords. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Spotify. The digital untangling of a life. On Friday, 3 days after the breakup, I had a moment of weakness. I typed her name into the Instagram search bar. Her profile, which had been quiet for a week, had a new post. It was from 2 days ago, the day after I left. It was a picture of her and Liam. They were at a winery, clinking glasses, his arms snaked possessively around her waist. She was smiling, that same smug, enlightened smile. The caption was the final nail in the coffin. Finally embracing my truth with someone who isn't afraid of it. Sparkle's so blessed to be on this journey with a partner who understands that love isn't about possession, it's about expansion. Hashtag evolved, hashtag ascend, hashtag authentic, hashtag my truth. It was a gut punch. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. To see my 4 years of loyalty and support discarded and mocked in less than 48 hours, it stung. But mostly, I felt a profound sense of relief. It was validation. I hadn't lost her. I'd escaped her. I blocked her. On everything. I blocked Liam. I blocked the Ascend seminar page. I scrubbed my life clean of her. The next day, Saturday, I went back to the apartment with my brother. She was gone. She'd left the key on the counter, just as I'd asked. The place felt empty, but it felt clean. I spent the weekend clearing out her things, the half-used bottles of shampoo, the yoga mat she'd only used twice, the live laugh love sign she'd hung in the kitchen. I threw it all in trash bags. Then, I went to the jeweler. I returned the ring. The money went straight into my savings account. I redirected all that future energy. I threw myself into the new project at work, clocking late hours not because I was sad, but because I was focused. I started a brutal new routine at the gym, channeling all that numb, restless energy into deadlifts and squats. I reconnected with friends I'd been neglecting because I was always trying to manage Sarah's journey. My life became quiet. It became mine. About 3 weeks after the breakup, I got a text. It was from Chloe, a mutual friend. "Chloe, hey Mark, you okay? Haven't heard from you in a while." Me, "Hey Chloe. I'm doing really well, actually. Thanks for asking. Focusing on work and hitting the gym. Hope you're good." A few seconds later, the 3 dots appeared. "Chloe, oh thank God. I'm so glad to hear you say that. Because, listen, I feel like you deserve to know. Sarah is an absolute train wreck." I stared at the text, feeling nothing. No joy, no pity. Just curiosity. Me, what happened? Chloe, that Liam guy was a total fraud. He's married. Apparently, he does this to a new woman at every Ascend seminar. Got her to pay for a bunch of advanced spiritual coaching sessions, like thousands of dollars, Mark. Strung her along for 3 weeks, and then just ghosted her. Blocked her number, kicked her out of the program, and disappeared. Her new friends from the seminar all turned on her, too. Called her a homewrecker. She's broke, and she's been blowing up my phone all week. I read the message. I read it again. I thought I would feel something. Anger. Vengeance. Schadenfreude. I felt nothing. It was like reading a news story about a stranger in another country. It was information and nothing more. Me, that's a tough situation for her. I typed, then paused, and added, me. Anyway, are you and Mike still on for trivia next week? I think I can finally make it. For the first week after Chloe's text, there was nothing. Silence. I figured Sarah was too humiliated or too busy trying to find her next guide to bother with me. I was wrong. She was just regrouping. The first attempt was predictable. It started with a text from an unknown number. I hadn't blocked her, just deleted her contact. I decided, with a kind of cold, clinical curiosity, that I wanted to see the entire life cycle of this disaster. I wanted to watch the train wreck from a safe distance. Unknown. Hey, I was in my kitchen, blending a post-gym protein shake. I looked at the text, didn't respond, and went back to the blender. 5 minutes later, another one. Unknown. I know you heard what happened. Can we please talk? I poured the shake into a glass and drank it. An hour later, the first crack. Unknown. Mark, I miss you so much. I was such an idiot. I saved the contact under a new name. Do not answer. The next day, she escalated. She couldn't get to me, so she tried to get to my guilt. Phase 2, the flying monkeys. I was at my desk, deep in the zone, finalizing a set of blueprints for the new project. My phone rang. Another number I didn't recognize. I assumed it was a contractor and answered professionally. This is Mark. Mark? Oh, thank God, honey. It's Carol, Sarah's mom. My blood went from room temperature to ice water in half a second. She had always been nice to me, but in that way that felt conditional, the "you're a good provider for my daughter" kind of nice. Hello, Carol, I said, my voice flat, all professional warmth gone. Mark, I'm so worried about Sarah. Her voice was a high, saccharine whine. She's not eating. She's broken. That monster, what he did to her, it's just criminal. She told me everything. He completely manipulated her. She was already spinning the narrative. Sarah wasn't a cheater, she was a victim. And I was the guy who was supposed to rescue her. She needs you, Mark, Carol pleaded. She loves you. She just got confused by that awful man. She knows she made a mistake. She just needs her rock back. I leaned back in my chair, looking at the blueprints on my screen. The solid, logical, predictable lines of a foundation. I'm sorry she's having a hard time, Carol, I said, my voice as cold and hard as concrete. But that is not my concern anymore. Our relationship is over. The fake sweetness evaporated instantly. Not your concern, she snapped, her real voice, sharp and entitled, finally coming out. After everything we did for you? After we treated you like family? You're just going to abandon her when she's at her lowest? When she's been abused? What kind of man are you? I didn't justify. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. The kind who doesn't get taken for granted, I said. Please don't call me again, Carol. I hung up before she could respond. I blocked her number. I took a sip of water and went back to designing a load-bearing wall. Phase 3 was the full-on meltdown. It came 3 nights later. I was at the gym, in the middle of a new personal record on my deadlift. The world had shrunk to me, the bar, and the floor. When I finally dropped the weight, gasping and flooded with endorphins, I checked my phone. 6 missed calls from Do Not Answer, and 1 new voicemail. I put in my earbuds, hit play, and started my cool down on the treadmill. Mark, please. Her voice was a ragged, hysterical shriek. I could hear wind and traffic. I'm outside your building. I wasn't, which was a small, grimly satisfying irony. I know you're in there. Just pick up. Please. I'm so sorry. She descended into a full, gasping sob. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst person in the world, I know. I know. I was a moron. I was so stupid. I made a horrible mistake. There it was. The big confession. That guy. That liar. He meant nothing, she wailed. It was all you, Mark. It was always you. I was just lost, and he took advantage of me. The treadmill hummed beneath my feet. I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll get a new job. I'll sell my car. I don't care. I just need you back. I can't live without you. I love you. Just please. Please, Mark, call me back. I love you. The voicemail ended with the sound of her just weeping, a raw, ugly sound of pure desperation. I listened to the entire thing, my heart rate slowly returning to normal. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel pity. I didn't feel anything. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was just sorry it didn't work out. I pressed the 7 key. Message deleted. I put my phone back in my pocket, wiped the sweat off my face with a towel, and started walking home. The ambush came 2 nights later. She must have known my schedule, must have been waiting. I was coming home from work. It had been a long, productive day. I'd been formally given the new project, which came with a corner office and a significant raise. I was wearing a new, perfectly tailored suit. I felt good. I felt solid. I was carrying my leather briefcase in one hand and a bag of healthy Thai takeout in the other. As I walked up the path to my building's lobby, a figure detached itself from the shadows by the entrance. Mark. It was Sarah. But it wasn't the evolved, glowing, smug Sarah from the winery photo. This Sarah was a wreck. Her hair was a greasy, unwashed knot on top of her head. She was wearing the same stained sweatpants and hoodie she'd probably been in for days. Her face was puffy, her eyes red-rimmed and bloodshot. She looked like the physical embodiment of a bad decision. The power dynamic of our entire 4-year relationship flipped on its axis in that 1 second. She looked at me, in my new suit, and saw everything she'd thrown away. I looked at her, in her misery, and felt nothing but the urge to get inside and eat my dinner. "Sarah," I said, my voice calm. I didn't stop walking, just sidestepped her to get to the key fob sensor. "You shouldn't be here. This is my building. You need to leave." "No. Wait." She lunged and grabbed my arm, the one holding my briefcase. Her grip was weak, desperate. "Please. Just look at me. Mark, look at me." I stopped. I turned. I looked. "I'm looking, Sarah. I'm a mess," she cried, fresh tears starting to spill. "I'm broken. Don't you even care? Look at what he did to me. Look at what he made me do." "No," I said, my voice quiet but absolute. "He didn't make you do anything. You did this." I gently, but firmly, detached her hand from the sleeve of my suit. "But I love you," she insisted, her voice climbing back toward hysteria. "That's what I'm trying to tell you. I made a mistake, the biggest mistake of my life. But I love you. I'll prove it. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Anything, Mark. I'll be the perfect girlfriend again, I swear. I'll be anything you want." This was the moment. The final test. The old me would have caved. The old me would have seen the tears, felt the guilt, and tried to fix her. But the old me was gone. I'd buried him under a pile of deadlifts and new blueprints. "I'm happy now, Sarah," I said, and the simplicity of the statement hung in the air between us. "What?" she whispered. "I care about my peace. I care about the life I've built since you left." I looked her dead in the eye, my voice devoid of all emotion. "What you're feeling isn't love. It's regret. And you're not crying because you miss me. You're crying because your plan B failed." She recoiled, as if I'd slapped her. "No, that's not true. You already told me the test for love, Sarah," I said, cutting her off. "You gave me the rule, remember? In our kitchen. You said, if you loved me, you'd let me do what makes me happy." I gestured to my suit, to the secure glass door of the lobby behind me, to my life. "I'm happy now. My life is quiet. It's stable. It's mine. So, if you ever loved me, at all, you'll let me be happy." I turned my back to her and raised the fob to the sensor. "And you'll leave." I heard a sharp intake of breath behind me. The tears stopped. I knew what was coming. The zen was gone. The victim was gone. Now, finally, the true colors. You bastard," she hissed, her voice a low, venomous rasp. "You cold-hearted bastard. After everything, you're just nothing. You'll be alone forever. You're not evolved enough to love anyone." I didn't turn around. The sensor beeped, and the heavy glass door unlocked with a soft click. "Goodbye, Sarah." I walked into the bright, warm lobby. The door slid shut behind me, its lock engaging with a final, definitive thud. I didn't look back to see her standing in the dark. I didn't need to. I walked to the elevator, pressed the button for my floor, and pulled my phone out. I sent a text to my brother. "Thai food. You in?" By the time the elevator doors opened, she was already just a bad memory on the other side of the glass. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.